anyway.
Well, hello. I'm glad to see you here today.
Yeah,
Welcome.
thank you. I had forgotten that you and Roboto were from Fear versus Greed.
Yep. Me and Chewy.
You could in Oh, Chewy as well. Yeah, but Chewy, I don't
Yeah.
see him much at Wand.
No, I don't either. How come, Chewy? You should come over to Wand. We could definitely use more people. Wink, wink.
Mm-mm. When did you start your project, your Discord, I mean?
Oh, wait. Sorry. Did you just ask me a question?
Yeah, I was
Sorry.
asking.
I was looking over my question. My bad. I was looking over my questions. Actually, I've only been in this Discord for I think like a month now. So this is my first time being up on the stage as a speaker and like a host, and so you could
Okay,
probably ask Chewy more about that
fair enough.
if he wants to chime in. I don't know what he's up to.
Yeah, he seems busy.
Yeah, he probably is, but that's okay. Wait, I'm just gonna wait for a few more people. I'll get started in a minute. Are you the only one that's gonna be up here today?
Yeah, because the devs are well, I'm the public face of Wand. Well, face not really because my dog thing is private. But they are more comfortable working on the code than being on stage. So usually for the AMAs, it's going to be me.
Okay.
So if you ask me about the lines of code, well, I'm going to to answer to you in a few days. But working with them, I also learn quite a lot about the technical aspects of running a project.
Alrighty, let me go ahead and get questions up here real quick. All right, well, I guess we could go ahead and start the one day AMA.
Mhm.
Well, thank you everybody for coming in today and being able to listen to the one day AMA and learn more about it. Is anybody recording this, by the way? Do we have anybody recording this?
I'm recording it.
You are? Okay. And everybody can hear me all right? All right, I guess
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself and then everybody else can as well. I'm LolaCryptoBunny. I've been doing crypto for about 2.5 years now. I'm also in DeFi heavily. I've been in that for about a year. I also am into a couple of NFTs as well, but I don't really do that as much. And I just joined, as I said, I joined Fear versus Greed about a month ago. So did my first AMA, but I'm definitely excited about it. What about you, Chewy? Nope.
No.
Is he gonna is he gone?
Hi, sorry.
Hi, would you like to introduce yourself, Chewy?
Hi, yeah. I joined. I joined Fears versus Greed a couple of months ago. Started coming on board as a full time researcher for Fear versus Greed. So for Caraway. So yeah. I started getting. I was doing a. I was working like a full time job last year. So I only started going full time into crypto at the beginning of this year. At the beginning. So it's been like a steep learning curve, but yeah, it's been going really great.
Yeah. I actually stopped working an actual job back in like November, and that's when I really started getting into the crypto space. What about you, Yakima? Could you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. So I started dabbling in DeFi, in cryptocurrency in September last year. Um, I started by just buying a few altcoins and trying to look into the tech behind them just to know what they were about and trying to make informed decisions. Um, then I saw on Binance that I could actually stake them. So I did that to have an APY on top of my tokens. And then I saw in DeFi with MetaMask that I could still stake them, but with a much higher APY. So I did that, and then I went more and more into alternative tokens. In October, November, I started going really deep into DeFi with the Ohm forks. So I made some gains and some losses, but overall it was quite okay. I mean, I wasn't like a big investor in Wonderland like some other people. So overall, I had it quite easy given that, given the circumstances. But that's also because when you were looking at the white papers on the Ohm forks, they would describe these 10 or 100%, 100 K percent APY and say, okay, this is sustainable because we are going to attract some people and so on. But it's not really. I mean, if your APY is 10K percent in a year, it means that you need 100 times more people in a year than now. So the I would say lying marketing or the untrue marketing was quite obvious, but it was only after we had seen so many losses that it was obviously not sustainable. And to me, it's actually a bit surprising that now we see a lot of Titano forks working, not working very well for most of them, but appearing more and more. It's like people didn't understand that if Ohm forks didn't work, the Titano forks are not going to work for a long time either. But at that time, I tried to think about a model for a sustainable Ohm fork. And I've been playing around with the idea for a bit of time until I realized that it's not possible as long as your APY is higher than what your utility can bring in revenue. It's not going to be sustainable. It means that you mint tokens out of thin air. And I didn't want to do that, so I took this logic to its extreme and decided to go with a model with 0% APY. If the APY is 0%, it means that in order to gain money and be attractive, you need the value of the token to increase, not the number of tokens, but the value of each token. And this is I played around with this idea for some time. I discussed it with some other investors, traders, and friends quite a few times. There have been several iterations to the idea. And even recently, there have still been a few more evolutions, including following some discussions with the economizer, just to tie up some loose ends. And now the model I think is definitely good enough for launch. The code is close to ready, and I think it answers your question.
So going off of that, is this the very first project you've done by yourself, or have you ever been have you ever helped out with any other projects prior? Or what
Uh,
are your credentials and qualifications as well in the crypto space?
So in the crypto space, that is my first project. I've been involved in quite a lot of discussions in governance on some other projects. But as a project manager or project lead, it is my first. However, the developers have a few projects behind them, and yeah, I'm quite amazed with their how thorough they are when it's about code. And I'm aware that well, the fact that it is my first project in crypto space is not well, it is a limitation. Which is also why I'm quite happy to have some advisors on the team, such as Cass and Economizer, just because having these extra pairs of eyes is really, yeah, very valuable to me. But I
How
would
many?
also,
Oh, sorry, my
um,
bad.
no problem. Just one other thing is that I also think that Wand is not a project like any other. The tokenomics do not look like any other project. And in a sense, I think that I was able to come up with such ideas because it was my first project. So it has some drawbacks, but it's also a strength.
How many team members do you have, and how many developers are working on the code and the security?
So in the team we have we have onboarded some people more recently. So I will give you the full overview. We have 3 developers, including 1 backend and 2 frontend. We have 2 designers and 2 content writers. Well, 3 actually. So that's a team of 8 total, plus all the moderators who do an amazing job. But you know them well, so. um,
So,
yeah,
I would like to ask some technical questions too. Would you like to go ahead and talk about your 3 token treasury and what you guys envision that to look like?
yeah. So I will start with the 1 token. I mean, it's a bit complex because I think, generally speaking, when in an AMA I start discussing the 1 token, it confuses people because it's a lot to learn about 3 tokens at once. So for the 1 token, what I will say now is that it is a behind the scene token. It's not a token that you can buy or that you can sell. You're never supposed to even see it. It's only a token that is meant to be used by the treasury to boost the treasury. So it's really some internal mechanics meant to increase the price of Scepter, but it's not something that you as an investor will ever see. So as an investor, what you will see is Scepter token and Baton token. The first is Scepter. It's not a token that you can buy or sell on a DEX, but only to and from the protocol. On the DApp, there will be a swap function where you can buy and sell it. And its price is not set by offer and demand. It's set by its ratio or its backing in the Scepter treasury. It means that the price of Scepter is calculated you take the value of the Scepter treasury, you divide it by the number of Scepter tokens, and you have the price of Scepter. So if there is $10K in the treasury and 1K Scepter tokens in circulation, each Scepter is worth $10. And we have several mechanisms to increase the price of Scepter. The first is that if the backing price is $10, you buy it at $12 more or less. And the $2 gap will also go to the Scepter treasury, which means that for everyone who already has some Scepter tokens, the price will increase. When you sell it, instead of getting $10, you will get $9 or maybe 8, depending on the market. And the remaining $1 or $2 will also stay in the treasury, which means that again, the price of each Scepter token will increase. Then the Scepter treasury will be invested. It's only made of stable coins, so it's a safe backing. It's not supposed to decrease unless there is an unpegging of the stable coins. But we invest them in maybe Tarot Finance, UST, Anchor, and other well-known protocols, so that we avoid the issue of smart contract risks. And that will deliver maybe 30, 50, or even 60% API. And then there is another source, which is the risk treasury. With the risk treasury, it's a totally separate treasury. Okay, it's not even the same wallet, and we use it to invest in higher risk, high rewards investments. Which means that if you hold some Scepter, you benefit when someone buys, when someone sells, just because the Scepter treasury is invested, and from high risk, high rewards investments. So with these many sources of Scepter token price appreciation, we think that we have the risk profile of a stablecoin, but much higher rewards. So yeah, that's for Scepter. The Baton token is a bit simpler in the sense that you burn Scepter, you get Baton. The Baton, we invest it in low to medium risk investments, and you get some weekly airdrops based on it. So you can see it's like a node in a way, in the sense that you basically lose your initial. But there is no token dilution. The problem with Node is that you're paid in their native token. There is a lot of token dilution and the price decreases. With Baton, we don't pay you in our native token, we pay you with the rewards of the treasury. And because part of the rewards are compounded, the treasury will increase in value, and you will earn more airdrops every week. The airdrops will be in USDC, by the way. So it's quite the opposite of a node in the sense that there is no token dilution, then the rewards will increase, maybe not every week, but probably every month or so. So yeah, the two tokens are Scepter and Baton.
Okay, so I was just wondering what implementations are being put in place by the team to not have a massive dump of the Scepter token prior to the Baton phase rolling out? Or, yeah, is that how you pronounce it, Baton?
Yeah, Baton, well, however you want. I pronounce it in French, so.
Tomato, tomato.
Exactly. No, we don't, but so the problem when a token is dumped is that so if you buy a token at maybe whitelist, and then the price increases, and then you sell, and the token dumps, that's because the price is set on a DEX by offer and demand. With Scepter, the price is not set by offer and demand. When investors sell their Scepter token, the value of the token increases. So if investors choose to dump the token, it's actually quite good. I don't think they will, because I don't expect the token to moon at launch, because the price is not set the same way. It will increase it steadily, but it's not going to moon. It's not designed to do so. But it also means that the token, because it only goes up in value, you don't risk to buy at the top and then it will decrease. It's only going to go up. So whenever you can buy it, you're always at the lowest value compared to what it will be in the future. So yeah, we don't have the problem of people dumping the token. I actually think that the main issue for us will be to have investors sell their Scepter tokens. Because if they do, then the price will increase more. So we're not facing the same challenge as most protocols.
Right. I was just wondering, just for anyone who doesn't know, could you speak a little more about what you mean by having Scepter and then burning it to get Baton? Could you explain that just a little more, please?
Yeah. So you cannot buy Baton with USDC or any other coin. The only way to get Baton is to burn your Scepter token. So you do that with the swap that will be on our DApp. And what happens when you burn your Scepter is that 90% of the backing of the Scepter token will go to the Baton treasury. This is how the Baton treasury will be fed, that and a share of the rewards from the risk treasury. Um, and yeah, that answers your question, I think.
Okay, thank you. So I know we're in the pre-seed and whitelist right now, but how far down the road can we expect Scepter to be launched and have everything up and running?
So I mean, it's always a bit theoretical because until the last minute there can be a new issue in development. But the code is supposed to be ready tomorrow. If
Ooh,
that's yeah.
that's exciting.
Uh,
Ooh.
if it is the case, we will send it to Hive and
Hive.
Cryptonaires for some, yeah, Hive investments and Cryptonaires, and they will review the code. And we will also send it to Certic and Kama. Kama has been auditing Highpoint and Sphere and found a bug in Titano V2 just before the launch. Um, and we will send it to them. They should give us a quote within 24 hours, and then we will send them the money and have the audit. Theoretically, with the fast track, Certic should give us the audit within 3 weeks. I hope they will manage to do that within 3 weeks, in which case we can do that, then have the whitelist pre-sale maybe in 4 weeks and the launch in 5 weeks, which would be very good. But then that's a timeline that will not really depend on us. So 5 weeks is the minimum, and I don't have a maximum for you because we don't want to launch without the audit.
Right, and you already answered one of my questions that had to do with being security audited through CryptoNairs, and you said Hive as well. Do you have any intentions of KYCing and doxing publicly?
Doxing publicly, no. KYC is done with Obsidian or House of Obsidian. It is me and the lead developer. And when we have a treasury manager, he will be KYC'd before accessing the multisig. So anyone having access to the final code or to the multisig is KYC'd before gaining any access. So you cannot be rugged or hacked by someone who is not KYC'd, basically.
So, if it's okay, may I ask why you don't plan on doxing publicly?
I have a private life and I don't really want to mix the
Right,
two. Maybe later, but it's just a matter of privacy.
right, and
But I
that's
mean,
understandable.
I am KYC'd with Obsidian, so if I rug or do anything
Ooh.
I shouldn't be doing, my name would be put on Twitter. So it's a good quality KYC, I would say, from a safety point of view. I am doxed to the governance council. They know my name. We've been talking on the phone and with video, and they have a screenshot of my identity card. Uh, so I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's quite, yeah. The risk is quite low, and we had a video call with Hive Investments as well. Yeah, I mean, quite a fair amount of people now see my face, have my real name, and so on. So yeah.
Okay. Is there a multi-sig in place? If so, how many? Is there how many, and is there a community member as well, a part of the multi-sig?
Yeah, several actually. At the moment, we only have the risk treasury because the Scepter and Baton tokens are not launched, so we don't have those treasuries yet. It is a 3 out of 4 multisig with me, the lead developer, and two governance council members, and they have been elected by the community. So that makes 2 community members on the multi-sig. So even if the whole team wants to take the money out of it, we cannot do it without the community's approval. And for the scepter and baton treasury, it will be maybe a 4 out of 6 with 3 team members and 3 community members. Maybe a seventh, like a trusted third party, but that's not decided yet.
Okay, and since you brought up your governance council, could you just give us like a little insight like on what that is and like who's a part of it?
Yeah. So we are a community-driven project. That means that we want to be transparent. We want the community to make some decisions. We want them to be involved in everything that we do. So, I mean, we cannot have thousands of people participating in every single decision, every single debate. It's just not realistic. So my idea was to create a governance council that would be elected by the community and give them access to our private Discord, and also to organize the debates, to see what we do in the background, to be on the multisig, to dox us, to keep us accountable, to call us if we do some bullshit. So to me, they are like an extended part of the team, but they come from the community. And yeah, the point is to kind of create a stronger bridge between the team and the community, because right now, I mean, we are quite often praised for the transparency and accountability and how close we are to the community.
Yeah.
But quite often, when a project is launched, the devs become distant and so on. And I don't want that to happen. It's not my intention. And I think that having a community governance council who can really say, okay, this is there is a change, this is not good, and so on, is important. And also, if we need to make a quick decision, we don't have the time to organize a full community vote, but it's important, and I don't want to take this decision on my own, then we can have a vote with the governance council. So it's a way also to have a good balance between democracy and efficiency. And who there are 4 of them. 2 are from community partners. One is from Only Up Capital. One is from Pre-Sale Vanguard, and they have a strong focus on security. Then there is Newbie and Quoted. I don't know how much I should talk about them because they don't want to be doxxed or anything. But what I can say,
it's all right. I was just wondering like who they were like on from like the Discord, not like their actual names or anything like that. Just like who they were like in your Discord. No, it's okay. It's fine.
I mean, they have the tag Governance Council on Discord. So if you go at the top right of the window, you will see them quite often.
Okay, yeah. And don't you have like a channel too for the Governance Council on Wand?
We have a category that's called governance. This is where we have the votes, the governance, and so on. So you can talk with them anywhere, of course, but this is the most logic place. And they also have access to our private Discord.
Awesome. Okay. My next question is, what is the allocation of pre-seed investment money to the developers? Because I remember reading there was to be a sizable portion of pre-seed money going to the developers. Why is this?
Not to the developers. So there are 3 seed rounds. The first is to pay for KYC. The second is to pay for the risk treasury. And the third is to pay for audit. This does not go into the team's pockets.
Oh, okay. I thought I read that somewhere. Maybe I don't know. I read a lot of white papers a lot, so.
No, I mean,
what are the percentages of all allocations of pre-seed money, meaning like marketing, development, coding, etc.?
So for I mean for from those three siege rounds, 0% because we don't do paid marketing. We are paying for a few things like a white paper from a professional designer, and it will cost us $3,000, which is fair because it's a good quality work. Um, but that's basically it. Everything else is for the expenses that have been agreed with the community. Then for the team, because of course we will get paid, 5% of the taxes on when you buy or sell Scepter, and 10% of the rewards from the Baton Treasury. These are the only sources of revenue for the team. We don't, I mean, we have some whitelist spots like other community members, so it's the same rules as for everyone, and we do not get free minted tokens.
Okay. Okay. So that's how that's how you guys get paid. It's just like whenever someone sells the token.
Buys or sells, yeah.
Buys or sells. Okay, gotcha. So
Because I mean,
speaking of this,
yeah,
sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, just saying that if we had to wait until people sell, we may wait for several months after launch to get paid. And I mean, I have a great team who has been working for free until now, and I want to be able to pay them as soon as possible. So there is also a share on the buys.
Yeah, because didn't you plan to launch in like June or July, like that area?
Yeah, that was the idea because I thought that Certic audit would be 1 or 2 months, but if it can be earlier and still after the audit, then it's I mean it is better.
Who's doing the Certic audit?
The Certic and maybe Kama.
Okay. So since we were just talking about the tokens, why would someone want to buy Scepter off Baton if Baton is already out? And
I mean,
let's say all three phases are out. Why would someone want to buy the first two and not the newest one?
well, Wand is a token that you will never get, so there are only two tokens really. Scepter is 100% backed by stablecoins, so it's a very low risk profile. Baton is something different in that you get some airdrops that depend on the treasury condition, on the market conditions. So it's more like a medium risk profile. I don't see Baton as an improved version of Scepter. It's more like two different tokens for two different risk profiles and two different ways to get money. So it's not like a competition between the two. It's more like they are complementary.
So you said you had 3 tokens, not 2?
Well,
Or is it just 2?
the one token, I think that you can ignore it because it's behind the scene. You cannot buy it. So
Yeah,
it
yeah, I
exists, but
remember
you
you
don't see it.
saying that. Yeah.
But
Does
for the
the wand
investors,
token like hold any value or anything like that?
it will be minted 1-to-1 with the Scepter token, so it will have the same value, and we will only use it as a collateral to borrow stablecoins. But that's its only purpose. So you're never going to see it really as an investor.
Okay. All right. How are you guys going to address the ever-growing nodes and sell pressure? Will there be caps, or in regards to the reflection token, will there ever be an implementation of a gradual decrease of rewards? If so, what are they, and is it subject to change?
So your question is here assuming that Baraton is kind of a node where we would give a fixed APY and that we would distribute some native tokens, which is fair because it's the case of a lot of projects today. But we don't face that issue. If you have some Baraton, uh, you will get a share of the rewards from the Baraton treasury. That means that if the market is green, you will have quite a bit of money every week. If the market is red, you will get less money every week, but it will never decrease the value of the treasury. So there is no risk of dilution. We don't have a fixed APY. We only give you what we can actually airdrop to you.
Have you guys ever like had to ponder upon this like by the team?
Sorry?
Hold on. What? Well, anyway, so I want to go back to whitelist. So I know that's still going on. And people are wondering, I'm sure, how can we get whitelisted or join the pre-seed of Wand? Is it closed, or can we still join either?
No, it's not closed. Both are still open. I don't know. Until I have the quote from Certic and Kama, I don't know exactly how much we need for the seed round 3. So I don't know how many spots there will be. But when we know, we will open more spots.
And do you have like a certain limit on like the whitelist spots as well?
Or we have quite a lot of spots in whitelist, and they will be attributed closer to launch, based on the contributions between the start and between launch. And it's not like invite X number of people or get the level 5 in activity on Discord, because that's the best way to have people spam us or to have people invite bots, and we don't want that. Instead, what we do is that we ask people to contribute in a way that would help Wand grow in any way. Like it can be by tweeting, it can be just by educating yourself on the model and then answering some questions on Discord. It can be by making some suggestions. It really depends on what kind of person you are, what skills you have, and what time you want to give to Wand, and that's a very personal decision to make.
Right, and from like my experience, I've gotten whitelisted in like other projects. It's mostly just being active and being involved in the community, pretty much.
That's exactly it, yeah.
And yeah, and adding value to it as well. So what's the goal of pre-seed investment raising? How much capital total is raised, or do you plan on having raised?
We will only raise as much as we need for the audits. That's the only purpose of this pre-seed, or at least for the third round. The first round was for KYC, the second for the risk treasury, and the third is for the audits.
All right. Chewy or Roberto, did you guys have any questions at all?
Yeah, I did actually. Could you talk about the investment analyst team? Because I know you built a team actually from the community. What are their backgrounds and how are they going to be involved in the protocol?
So regarding their background, they all have, I mean, they're not professionals, if that's your question, but they have shown that they have made good investment decisions. Some of them have gone through the course of Jiraya, who does a boot camp in crypto. And the way that we chose them was to say, okay, these are 2 projects. Please do a review of them and send it back to us. And their reviews were really good. I mean, all of them. So it was quite a tough decision to make, but we had to make a selection because I didn't want the investment analysis team to be too big. And the way that we work is that anyone from the community can submit an investment proposal. If we invest in it, by the way, you will get a share of the rewards that we get from that investment. So someone makes a suggestion, then we see it in our document. It's sent to us. Then several analysts will make a review. I think that it's important to have several pairs of eyes because we all see things differently. So I may see something that you may not see, but you may also see something that I wouldn't see. So it's important to have some diversity. And then for most investments, the governance council will make a vote because the governance council has the legitimacy by being elected by the community. And if the investment is really big, then the community itself will vote. But the reviews from the investment analysis team will be made public in this case, so that the vote is based on good information.
And will the investments be for all three different treasuries?
Yes, not the same kind of investments. For Scepter, it's low risk; it's only stable coins. For Baton, it's low and medium risk, and for the risk treasury, it's high risk. Not degen, but high risk.
Cool. The other question I had was on, I know you're big on community-driven decisions. What votes should we be aware of now? Because I know there's a couple going on right now in the Discord.
Right now, there is a vote about a whale proposal. The idea is to offer whales the possibility to invest 60% of their allocation at pre-sale price and 40% after 36 hours. The idea is that they first get some tokens at a low price, which is good for them, and then they do a second purchase after all the small investors have bought, which means that they will drive the price up for everyone else. So this is a vote that is going on at the moment, and we just closed the vote about how the future votes will be made with the wallet. I was in a time of Wonderland when it was bought by a few whales. I don't want that to happen to us. So we wanted to cap the maximum voting power per wallet to avoid on being overtaken by a few whales. And at the same time, we wanted to give some reputation tokens so that the contributing community members would get more voting power. And the proposal passed just yesterday.
That's great. And my last question is just kind of open-ended. What risks are top of mind for you, and what things should we be sort of aware of as investors?
If you have some Baton tokens, the risk, the Baton treasury will be there will be some stable coins a bit, yeah, but also some native network coins, some blue chips with automatic rebalancing to outperform the market. But if the market is red, its value will decrease, and it's part of the game, right? So you should be aware of that risk with the Baton token, that the airdrops may decrease. For Scepter Treasury, there are just two risks. The first is that stable coins become unpegged. That would suck, but if this is the case, most of your investments in DeFi are fucked up anyway, so it's we just cannot avoid that. And the second risk is a smart contract risk, either on a place where we farm our tokens. So we will be selective in where we do that, but the risk is never 0%, or that the Wand platform itself gets hacked, but I mean, we will get 2 audits and 2 security reviews, so I think the risks are quite low, but it's never 0.
Great, thanks.
All right, thank you. So I just have a few more questions, and then I'm gonna see if the audience wants to come up or they have any questions. Is this your biggest professional accomplishment?
Well, that's a tough this tough question. Well, I would say yes, yeah.
You would say yeah. How come? Well, yeah, we know why.
No, I mean, I'm quite proud of what I'm doing because it's innovative, and I think that it answers some issues in DeFi. But I'm also quite proud of some of the other things I've done in my professional life. So it's the answer is yes, but it's not the only thing I've done.
How long have you been a part of like the DeFi space?
Since September, so that would be 7-8 months.
Really, yeah, me too. Mine's been like about the same length, maybe a year, as I said earlier. Did you say something, Chewy? Oh, I thought he did. Okay. So tell us something interesting you have learned throughout this company and launching this project.
Um, so it's really about how we can all work together because I had a general idea about how a design work, how a design work works, how a developer works and everything. So it's really the way that everything gets interconnected and how everyone is interdependent in the sense that the designer needs the developer needs the designer. And it's not just in theory, it's that we cannot move on our own work if the other guys cannot. And really, this interdependence has been quite profound because maybe it was naive, but I imagined that everyone was kind of working in their corner and fairly independent, but it's not the case at all. And the other thing I would say is just the power of the community. I had no idea it would take such a scale. I mean, yes, we're just 6.5 thousand people on Discord. It doesn't look like a lot, but there are basically no bots. When I look at the number of people online, we have as many people as some Discords that have 3 or 4 times the same number of people total. And it's all because we have such a strong community. And to circle back to what I've learned, I would say that it's the power of a community that wants to be involved and that is being heard.
Right, and like I know a lot of us have been in crypto for many years now, but I was just wondering from your perspective, what still excites you about crypto?
Well, for me, in a way, it's still fairly new because I mean, 8 months I've learned quite a lot, but there are also so many things that I don't know. But right now, it's the possibility to create my own project that's very exciting. And I don't want to dismiss everything else that is being done. Of course, I mean there are so many amazing things, but of course my eyes are mostly towards what I am doing at the moment, and also our next project.
Right, yeah, and you're absolutely right. It's still a very young space. I mean, there's new projects all over the place every single day, just popping up out of nowhere.
Yeah, and
But
even some already quite well established projects that are doing some amazing things. If you look at Terra and Luna, they keep evolving and creating so many new features, even though they are not that new anymore.
right, right. And so what do you see the future of Wine being?
So where I want to go is that you can buy and sell bonds with dollars or euros, and basically instead of just holding your national cryptocurrency, you would just hold Scepter, which means that you would be able to pay with it with your credit card, and instead of holding on your personal wallet a national coin that doesn't increase in value, you would hold Scepter, which increases in value every single day. This is the end goal. So it means that we will need to do a lot of work to simplify the model, to make it more accessible, to make it tradable on DEXs. It's not possible yet, but it will be at some point. Also on CEX, centralized exchange. But yeah, the end goal is really to make it as seamless and easy as possible because today the main limitation to the mainstream adoption of cryptocurrency is maybe complexity a bit, but more likely the risk aspect. And we are effectively solving the risk issue because Scepter is based on stable coins. And if we manage to be a less complex model, then we can already have a mainstream adoption.
Okay, well, thank you for that. I just had one more question, and then I'm gonna open it up to the audience because I know we're getting low on time here. So I know you have to burn Scepter to get Batten. Is that the only way to get Batten? Is by burning Scepter? Is that the only way?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Does anybody want to come up and ask any questions, or is there any questions that anybody has?
Before we quickly go, I had to just ask, are there any whitelists you give away to the community? To this community here?
You mean now? No. We only give whitelist spots to contributing community members. Because if we start giving some whitelist spots to people just because they've been in one AMA outside and so on, it's not very fair. So if you're interested in a whitelist spot, you need to join one, basically.
Yep. I had to ask though.
Fair enough.
Welcome up to the stage, Ballmate. You can go ahead and ask your question.
Hello, I hope everybody can hear me.
Yep,
Yes.
can hear you just
Okay, good.
fine.
So, I think I've prepared a few quite tricky questions, so I'll just start off. You maybe already seen the list in the chat that I posted quite a while ago.
Oh yes, I've seen your list of questions.
Yeah, it's quite long. So I'll just begin. Are the 33% that go to the Batten treasury when new Scepter is minted still backing Scepter?
When you mint Scepter, the full value goes to the Scepter treasury, but 33% of the rewards, and not what comes from external sources, but from the rewards from the Scepter investments, go to the Baton treasury. So it's not. I cannot really say yes or no. It's when you mint Scepter, all of the value goes to the Scepter treasury.
Okay, so it's still backing it theoretically.
And in practice.
Okay, good. So then I'll continue on. So it's just a simple. You can just see this Batten treasury or this as an investment, frankly speaking, right? It's just
I mean, you will be able to redeem your Baton token or to sell it back to the protocol, but the price will be low, so I would advise against it. The best way to see it is that you lose your initial and you get some weekly airdrops against it.
Okay. So since 33% will be sent to this Batten treasury, what is even the benefit of sending it to the Batten treasury, since just the Scepter token or the Scepter treasury will still remain in stable coins? So what is even the benefit of sending these just treasury funds from the Scepter treasury to the Batten treasury, if they're anyway just staying in stables?
No, I think we have a misunderstanding here. The 33% that go from the Scepter to the Baton treasury is not from the Scepter treasury, but from the APY generated by the treasury investments.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is a bit of a misunderstanding here.
Now I got you. Okay.
In practice, it's not going to be a lot. And the benefit of when you burn Scepter, the benefit of moving the value of Scepter to the Baton treasury is that this is a significant amount, whereas the 33% from the rewards from the Scepter investments will be smaller.
Okay, now I understood it. Thanks. That would just cause quite a lot of confusion for me. Okay, so then my next question is in these example calculations for selling, for example. Where do the tokens go after selling? So if you just
They are
say,
burnt.
I want to say they're burnt. Okay, they're completely burnt. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. And what is then the total supply? Is it just how will it be decided on?
It's only the Scepter tokens that are being held in the investors' wallets. So to calculate the value of Scepter, you take the full value of the Scepter treasury and you divide it by the number of Scepter tokens in circulation. The tokens in circulation are all the tokens that investors have bought minus the tokens that the investors have sold.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. Then my next question. Were the numbers where you're just talking about the Scepter treasuries 33%, 66%, 33%, 33%, were the numbers just rounded up, or where did this missing 1% of these treasury
They
investments
are
go?
rounded up.
Okay, they're rounded up. Okay.
It's not 1% hidden for the team or anything.
Exactly.
It's
That was my
simplicity of
question.
writing.
Okay, good. Then my next question. Since the tokens are only exchangeable on the official Wand website, doesn't the protocol or just this website also require somewhat of a multi-sig, just the website itself? Since if the website is gone, there's no real possibility of exchanging the tokens.
So the smart contract will be online, and it's not going to depend on our website. So if you're quite technically savvy, you could interact with the contract without the website, I believe. But I mean, for 99% of the investors, it will not be the case. So yeah, it's up to us to make sure that the website is not down. But in a few months, Scepter should be tradable on DEXs. Like I said, our goal is to simplify the model, to make it mainstream and seamlessly integrable with other projects and platforms. So Wand, as you know, it will evolve. And one of the evolutions will be to go on a DEX without changing the tokenomics.
Okay, now my final question. When somebody wishes to exit the protocol, will the invested treasury funds need to be manually taken out by somebody, or will the smart contracts be able to do that on their own?
No, we do it manually. We do it with the multi-sig. We do it once a week, unless there is an emergency, of course. But because there is a 10-day lockup period, doing it once a week should be enough.
Okay, great. That's it. These are all my questions. You've answered them quite well, I would say. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
No problem.
Well, thank you. Did you have any questions at all, Chewy?
Yeah. I was just a couple of things that I wanted to check. Maybe I'll just take a couple of the questions that's on here as well. Omni King was asking what will be the team or devs allocation? Is there a percentage or from the buys? Is it?
In tokens, we don't mint any token for free. We have 5% of the tax on every purchase and every sale, and 10% of the rewards from the Baton treasury. So basically, we are paid on performance.
Right. Okay. He was saying the main problem with the reflection token is volume. So what's the incentive to burn Scepter, and receive Baton or Baton? Oh God, different countries say it differently, isn't it?
So I don't see why there would be a problem with the reflection token. What is wrong if there is too many Baton tokens? If there are many people burning their scepter to have some Baton tokens, the Baton treasury will grow more, so it will be enough to fuel more airdrops. So I don't see it as a risk, actually.
Yeah.
Quite the opposite, because if there is more volume, then we may be able to have some other investment strategy that would offer new options. So I don't want to disincentivize the burning of scepter to get Baton.
Right, which leads me to my personal question. Because I've tried the simulator and stuff, and what would be your secret, if you could share your secret strategy of what's the best way to? I couldn't figure out really the best way. How would you recommend to play this strategy?
It's fairly personal because it depends on the assumptions about how the market will be, what the other investors will do, how the treasuries will perform, and it's quite. I can make some assumptions, but I don't know how the market will be in 2 months. Me Personally, I'm more of I mean, I love reflection tokens. Um, I'm not saying that this is the best strategy, but I just love those tokens. So I will definitely get some baton. But I also want to have some scepter because I cannot be the founder of one and not hold some scepter because it's our most creative token, and it's kind of our uh, it's our brand. Our brand is based on scepter much more than baton. So make your own strategy. I cannot say it's much better, but for myself, it's going to be maybe 66 or 75% baton.
Oh, more baton than sphere? Than sphere. Sorry, scepter.
I have some sphere too, but I mean, I just love reflection tokens. I'm not saying it's a better strategy. I'm saying that this is what I prefer. But also as founder, I will get a share on the revenue generated by the protocol. So in a way, we're not in the same situation because I will get some revenues based on the performance of Scepter and Baton because I'm part of the team. So either way, I will have a mix of both in my wallet at the end of the day.
Right, right. So the long term play is to accumulate the passive income through the reflections from the baton token.
Scepter is also a long-term play. Both are designed for long-term holding. Yeah, I don't have a definitive answer to you. It's if you want some low risk, go with Scepter. If you want some medium risk, go with Baton. So the potential rewards from Baton are higher, but the potential not gain is also higher with Baton.
Right. Got it. So he was asking also, are you planning to introduce a tax system? But I think that means that when you buy, there's a 20%, right? And then when you sell, you sell it at a 10%. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I would call it a community tax because most of it does not go to the team. Most of it goes to the other holders. So
Right.
it's yeah, it is a tax, but most of it does not go to their wallets.
Okay. Well, so from what I can see from the chat, most of it's been answered already via the chat. So let me yeah, go ahead.
I know I invited Phoenix AB up to the stage because they had a question.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and ask. He has his mic muted.
Hey, sorry.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Good evening,
Hi,
everyone.
welcome.
Thank you. It's 9 p.m. here in North Africa. Good evening to everyone, or good day in general. So, I have very little basic knowledge regarding this particular sector. So I have two quick questions. The first one is, I heard you mentioning that there is no fixed APY. And yeah, would love to know if there are limits like a minimum or a maximum for airdrops. And the second question is, I went through the white paper yesterday, and I gotta say that I really liked what I have read. But I don't remember going across the type of investments or sources of income. You know, other projects they develop their own blockchains, their dexes, play to earn games, and they even invest in other hedge fund projects. So would really love to know if or to know your plans
Yeah.
in this regards. Yeah, that's very much all for me.
All right. So regarding your first question as to a minimum or maximum APY, we don't have it. Simply because we don't dilute. So if no one buys Scepter, it sucks. But if we are not going to mint Scepters out of thin air, If the Baton treasury doesn't work at all because the market is deep red, we are not going to create money out of thin air. Some protocols do it, and then the value of the tokens will plummet. We don't want to do that, so we cannot make any promise regarding APY. So it's also why we think that we will be sustainable, because we don't make unrealistic promises. Regarding your second question, I mean, like creating their own blockchain, and maybe you're referring to Thorchain. This is a rather advanced project. We are not at this degree of maturity yet. I don't know what we will be doing in a year. Maybe we will have our own blockchain. That's not the direction towards which we are headed. What we will do, however, is we have several ideas of utilities. We want to dabble with under collateralized loans, because the value of Scepter will only increase. So we can have a loan that is under collateralized. We want to use it on some lending platforms. And yeah, we have a few ideas regarding the utilities. I also think that going mainstream will generate more revenues as well. Regarding the type of investments, for Scepter and Baton, I think I've answered. For the risk treasury, well, we are quite open. If we find a good investment, it looks safe, the tokenomics are good, we will invest in it. Whether it's NFT or Node or even a Titan or Fox. If the foundations are strong, we're going to invest in it. And yeah, it's not very a very precise answer, just because we are quite open-minded.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
All right. Does anybody else have any other last minute questions they want to ask? I don't. I've pretty much asked everything I could. I think Yakuma's pretty much answered everything that he possibly could. I don't want to keep anybody too much longer. I just want to say thank you to everybody who was able to listen into the AMA today and be able to ask questions and be a part of it. And thank you, NKRWay, for allowing me to host this AMA with Yakuma. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks to everyone. So just really quickly, before we wrap, so Fear versus Greed is a research. We provide a research service membership. 1 AVAX a month to come in. We have a premium spreadsheet of all the projects, as many projects as possible. I think we're clocking in past 500 projects, where we every day Caraway and the team will come up with launch info, pre-sale info. So anything. So check us out. Have a look at the different channels here, and thank you so much again for Juan coming in. I was really excited about the project all along, and now after today, it's the hype is real. So very excited. Thank you so much. Yeah, and because with all that's happening in the space, this is a really unique project for me in terms of the way the tokenomics works, and it'll be nice to see a rising price chart for once.
I think that we will be quite proud of the chart of the token going only up every single day. It's going to change from quite a bit, yeah.
I have like 60 tabs of charts, and everyone is red, so it'd be nice to have one that's good. Yeah, it's really good.
Man, I am all about organization. That would definitely get on my nerves. That's okay though. I mean, if you organize it.
Yeah.
I organized all my tabs on Discord. Did you know you could do that? If you're on mobile, you can organize your tab or your groups into like little folders.
It is so helpful.
Yeah, but I definitely cannot wait to see the future of WAN. I can't wait for them to launch. Thank you everybody for being here today. Thank you for taking the time to come here and listen. I hope the best for everyone, and I hope Juan goes to the moon.
Well, thank you so much for your invitation and all of your questions. I mean, they were very good, and I can tell that you've been looking at the white paper quite in depth to ask those specific questions. So I appreciate your time
So,
and you guys for listening as well.
oh, really quickly before end of sorry. What is the roadmap for one after launch? Like after the tokenomics is stable, the reflections are coming in. What is the next step? Because are you going to try to go into the central exchanges, or then how would that without affecting the tokenomics of
Yeah.
through that app? Yeah, is there any roadmap for
So
this?
the first step is simply to have strong foundations. So we will not. I mean, we will get a better dashboard. We will do some good investments. We will just have some experience with the model and the community. Then we want to be on a DEX, and we will align the price on the DEX and on the protocol with some arbitrage bots. This way, the tokenomics will not change, and we will be on a DEX, and maybe even in the future in some centralized exchange. I want also to simplify a bit the taxes, lower some, maybe have a bit of tax on the risk treasury, because I want us to earn the same amount, but in a way that makes Scepter more accessible. Maybe put an end to the Scepter lockup period, so that it's also. I mean, if we are on a DEX, it doesn't make much sense to have a lockup period anymore. To develop some utilities. Maybe some self-repaying loans like Kinetic Money or Alchemix does. Find a way to stake Scepter and get an APY on it, maybe with the Frax partnership. We have a lot of ideas. We have to make some decisions, because I know most of them we can do. Some will not just depend on us, like the partnership with Frax. It also depends on them. So this is the roadmap for maybe a year. And then we want to be really on centralized exchanges. We maybe works with some crypto era assets. And it's hard to say what will happen in a year, of course, but I want a seamless integration where you can buy and hold Scepter and Baton tokens very easily. Ideally, I would like that you can collect your airdrops from Baton on your bank account directly on your credit card. This is the long-term vision, that you gain some money like very passively. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to look at the charts. You just receive some money.
That's awesome. It's always the goal, the dream. Just one last question again. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. That's why we're here.
I was just wondering about marketing, because one of the factors, again, with DeFi is always, key marketing and, going big and stuff. So what would be the future marketing plans after launch, to sort of like get the word out further on one.
I mean, we have a strong community, and we don't even have a website yet. I think that when we have a website and the white paper, like the well-designed one, and some charts with the price going only up, it will do our marketing. I'm not very fond of paid marketing.
Right.
Because it attracts a lot of moon boys and one launch and one moon. And
Oh
quite a
gosh,
lot
I'm
of
sorry. That's
projects.
funny.
Sorry?
I said I'm sorry. That's kind of funny because people just always ask when launch, when moon.
Yeah, and this is not we don't want to attract apes. I mean, apes are welcome, but they are not the foundation of a community. So we want to rely on our community until launch and even after launch. If it doesn't work,
I forgot to ask. Since you mentioned your website, that's the one question I didn't ask. When do you plan on putting up your website or having your website open to the public?
so the landing page was supposed to be ready yesterday. So I think it will be in a few days. I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, I've seen it and it's really beautiful, but it's not. Yeah, it's in the coming days, definitely. And for the dashboard and the DApp, it will take a bit more time because it's more complex. But we have one dev working on the front end, on the landing page, and another on the DApp. So they are working in parallel at the same time on the different pages. But they will be soon, like we say. And yet, to circle back to marketing, our strategy is working at the moment. So I don't want to change it unless it doesn't work anymore. If we see that at some point it doesn't work, we will change our strategy, do some paid. But so far it's working very well, and I don't want to fix something that is not broken. And also, if we start doing some paid marketing, where will the money come from? Does this mean that we have less resources for some product development? Do we have less moderators, and therefore the community will not have moderations all the time? So we have to make some financial choices, and I think that the choices that we make right now are good, and I don't want to change them unless it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, I'm a fan of organic marketing. I did it for a couple of projects, and always being active and contributing, and I think that grows the community the best. I think that's one of the really good ways. So yeah. So because I was wondering, because you didn't have any didn't seem to have any allocation for marketing, so I was just curious on that. Okay, awesome. Anything else from you, Lola, before we get Achiman to wrap it up for today, to close up for today?
Nope, I don't have any other questions. I think I've asked just about everything under the sun. I appreciate you being here and being able to answer the questions that I had, and I'm sure other people had similar questions as well. So thank you so much for allowing us to have your time to do that.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was a pleasure.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. I think we're gonna wrap up this one for today.
Alrighty, sounds like a plan to me. Thank you, Chewy. Thank you, and Caraway, Yakima, and anybody else who asked questions. Can't wait to see the future of this project. You all have a blessed evening or night or wherever you are, and I will catch you later.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.